Hi all and welcome to another Football Manager video. In this video I'm going to give you one simple tip, and if you do this and make it the very first thing you do in Football Manager, you will have a huge amount of success, and probably success that you may have not ever had so quickly. So to give you a bit of background in terms of how I came up with this and why I thought of trying this, was we're going to stay on this page, the most important page in Football Manager. Nothing is more important than tactics. And out of every single stat on this entire page, there is one area we're going to focus on today that is more important than anything, and is this familiarity section. So as they call it, tactic familiarity levels. So this is basically how used your players are to play in this system. So how familiar they are with the tactics, both in terms of the formation and in terms of just how the way you want to play. So as we know of Football Manager, as you play more games and you play the way that you want to play with the players that you're going to play with, you get higher levels of familiarity, which always leads to better performances. So it got me thinking, well, if we know that by playing more games we can get our familiarity up with our system, when is the best time to play the most amount of games? And it's obviously pre-season. So I'm going to go over to my schedule and show you my pre-season schedule. So looking at this, 16 games I line up. That's typical for a pre-season. I usually would aim for about 15, 16, 17 games. Now clearly in reality, in real life, no football team in the world would play 16 pre-season friendlies because they're going to get injured. But the reason those injuries would come if they played that many games is because they've got 18-man squad, 20-man squad, 23-man squads, whatever it may be. If you go into the Football Manager with 16 pre-season friendlies and use a squad of 18, 19, 20, 23 players, you're going to get the same thing. You're going to get players injured because you can't ask fullbacks, who generally tend to cover the most ground, for example, to play a game every 2 or 3 days. It just isn't going to happen. They're going to get injured. They're going to get muscle injuries, and they're going to be out for weeks. So you have to manage your players very carefully. And how you do that is, if your squad isn't big enough, and most squads are not going to be big enough, if you're playing every 2 games, in reality you're going to need at least 25 to 30 players in your first team squad. Use your backup squads, use your reserve team squad, use your B team squad, use your under-19s, your under-21s, your under-18s, whatever team that you're at. Utilize those squads and bring the best players into your first team squad. Okay, so that will mean that you are not picking the same players game in, game out. Now clearly you can play some players more than others, so you can play your centre forward more often, your goalkeeper and your centre backs. Those are the 3 positions that players lose the least amount of match condition, the least amount of fitness from playing. Whereas, as I said before, if you play fullbacks, certainly wingers as well, fullbacks tend to cover the most ground, wingers and centre midfielders tend to cover the most ground after that. They lose fitness quite quickly, so you've got to be very, very careful with those players. So utilise your backup players and get them into your team. If you do this, you will get instant success. I absolutely sort of promise you. And one final tip I'm going to give you is, if you have got an idea of your first choice team or first choice pairing, so for example, your centre back pairing. So look at my centre back pairing here. They've got a fairly decent partnership, having played together often in their selected roles. So you want to try and get partnerships going throughout your team. So you want your fullbacks playing together with the wingers, the centre midfielders and anchormans, and your centre backs. And then even if you're playing attacking midfield, he can play well with the centre forward. So in pre-season you want to play those players as much as possible. So let's just say, for argument's sake, this was the game that I felt was going to be my first choice team going into the start of the season. Well, pre-season I'm going to play these guys together, and every time these players aren't fit, I'm going to leave them out, and I'm going to play maybe my 3rd choice centre back, my 4th choice centre back, maybe my 5th choice centre back. Because I'd rather, if these players are going to play, I would rather them play together in the same game, the same match, to allow them to build up that understanding. If you build up understanding throughout the pitch, again, your familiarity increases and you will get better results. Now, I've watched a lot of Football Manager videos. I've never seen anybody talk about playing so many friendlies to develop your familiarity with the system. I'm sure somebody's thought about it and people have tried it. I'm sure I'm not the first person to think of it. I'm sure there's many people who've tried it and had the same level of success. But this is a very simple thing. It's the very first thing I do in my Football Manager. I go straight to my friendlies, line up loads of friendlies, and clearly, I suppose, it's up to you how you play the game. I never play friendlies as a manager myself. I let my system manager take care of the tactical briefings, take care of the actual leading the friendly matches, because I'm not interested in the results. The idea is to play as many games as possible, and often as possible. The players playing together, you'll develop that familiarity, you will play better, and the results will come, regardless of how you start off. And as an example here, look at the start of pre-season. Not great at all, but then it gets better and better and better. And then look at the first 4 games of the season. 17 goals scored. Now, how many people watching this video have played Football Manager and have really struggled to hit the back of the net early in the start of the main season? It can be a particular struggle for the attacking players. It never happens when you do this. The attacking players have scored so many goals and played so well in pre-season, they just hit the ground running and will be bang on form. And if your attacking players are playing well, scoring goals, creating goals, you will win games if you can keep the odd clean sheet. Okay, so hopefully you found the video useful. Give me a thumbs up and a like if you liked the video. I look forward to showing you more videos of Football Manager. If anybody's got any comments, please leave them. And I hope you found the video some benefit to you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again.